looking thick, looking juicy. Hi, welcome to another episode of my podcast. I am so excited. This episode was so good. On today's episode, we had on Michael Rapaport, and man, he's been in so many movies and TV shows. It's insane. Yeah, I'm super glad that we had him on. We talked about his career, his Instagram videos, working with Eddie Murphy and Brad Pitt. So many things. Real Housewives, reality TV. We talked about a lot of stuff, and it was super cool to have him on. I'm excited for you guys to listen. I have eaten, we talked about this on the pod, but I ate at this place called Burgers 99, one of my favorite burger spots in LA, and they have special menu items for, each day of the week, and so I ate there every single day. I had all these crazy burgers and breakfast burritos and sandwiches, and I'm all plugged up, and I made the mistake. I took two, so I was, in pain, cramps, bending over, sweating, chills.
After which one?
After the fifth day. After the fifth day when I had the burger with a thick cut bacon, pretty much like Pam. It was pretty much ham. It looks nasty, but it's bomb. Thick cut bacon, ooh, it's so good. But it sent my stomach through a spiral. So then I took, I know it's early in the pod, and, I don't want to be talking about poopy stuff, but I am. I took 2 laxatives. And, no. I took 2 laxatives on Friday. And then Friday night, it hits me. And I go to the bathroom, and it's, pouring out like a faucet. And then Friday night, I have the worst UTI. And if there's dudes listening to this who aren't familiar with the UTI, it's pretty much when you have the urge to pee constantly. So it's so uncomfortable. Imagine just going throughout your day, but every 5 seconds you feel like you're about to piss your pants. It's such an uncomfortable feeling. You can't be at ease or peaceful in any way because you're constantly oh my God, I'm about to piss. And then not only that, but when you do piss, it's the tiniest amount, and it's also burning, painful, sometimes bloody. Yeah. So then I wake up at 2 a.m, and I'm in so much pain. I have to pee. So I'm sitting on the toilet just trying to pee little droplets. And so I'm I just need to take a bath. So I take a nice relaxing bath. At 2 a.m, that's a weird time to take a bath. That does not feel natural. But I'm just in there chilling. Then 4 a.m. comes around. I finally go to bed. And then during the day, I'm totally fine. But my stomach's hurting again. Bad. Cramps. Bending over. So then I make the mistake of taking 2 more laxatives. Shouldn't have done that. Well, maybe I should have. I don't know. But it didn't hit me. I didn't go to the bathroom to do a number 2 yesterday. Today, oh my God, it all came out. Nothing left. And then I went to urgent care because my bladder thing. Then last night again, I'm fine throughout the day. Then 4 a.m, I wake up, I can't go to sleep, and I feel like I have to keep peeing. I'm so uncomfortable. So then I went to urgent care, definitely have a UTI. I'm on antibiotics right now. No more laxatives for me. Oh my God, but I was this is it. I'm dying. I'm ready to go. But thank God, I'll be fine, right? Yeah. It's Hanukkah, so happy Hanukkah to all the Jews out there. I see you. I'm making latkes tonight. Those are my favorite. Yeah, I'm making latkes. Little potato pancakes. Even if you're not Jewish, I implore you to try out some latkes. They're so good. If you like potatoes, these are the best kind. So it's a potato pancake. What more could you ask for? Put a little sour cream on there. I'm a sour cream gal. I don't like applesauce on my latke. But, yeah, happy Hanukkah. This is huge news. I made holiday cards. They're so cute. They're little meme holiday cards. One of them says if it lasts for more than One of them says if it lasts 8 days, it's either Hanukkah or you need to go to the doctor. One of them is a picture of me as an angel, and it says, maybe next year you'll be on the nice list. And then I have one that says, happy holidays during the best year ever, to many more exactly like this one. And then if you go on my website, there's one that's censored, and if you buy it, it's uncensored, and it's me in a bathing suit next to a birthday cake with balloons and confetti everywhere, and it says, happy birthday, Jesus, to many more. Love, Allie. So you can buy that on my website, alliemakowski.com/merch, and I'm gonna I'm like writing out your address by hand, and I'm gonna write a little thank you, love you on it. So it's personalized, it's super cute for the holidays. Get it for yourself, get it for a family member, a friend, a fan of the pod, and what else was I gonna say? Oh, also, if you subscribe to my Patreon, the lowest tier's $5, and you'll get a free holiday card with that. So think about it. Consider your options. $5 Patreon subscription with a free holiday card, or you can buy the holiday card for $10, or you can get the sexy holiday card for $15. Oh, yeah. And this episode with Michael Rapaport, there's about 10 minutes that are behind the Patreon wall. Michael talks about prank calling a very, very famous celebrity when he was a kid, and then later working with that celebrity and never telling him, and some other stuff that we kept behind the paywall. So if you want the full experience, get on my Patreon. If you want to do the highest tier, we have a Zoom hangout every month. And our next Zoom hangout is going to be Tuesday, December 22nd. And I'm looking forward to that. We have a girl on the top tier Patreon now, so it's not just me and a bunch of dudes. We got my girl, Julie. Fuck! I'm a bad person. I love her, though. She's my queen. And, yeah, it's a good time. Is there anything else? NCIS filmed at my house this week. I was sitting out in my driveway. My friend was over, and we were in my driveway, like, chalking the cement. And this guy walked by who's, like, a location scout for NCIS, and he was like, can we film your house? And I'm like, oh, my God, I have the perfect house for murder. And so I was like, yes, of course. And so I had to get COVID tested 4 days in a row. And all I was doing was sitting in my room, just making sure if they had questions, I could answer them. I wasn't even, like, involved in, like, seeing anyone. And I was negative every time. And I forgot at one point that they were filming at my house, and I was in my room, like, on FaceTime with my sister. And all of a sudden I hear a pounding on my door. It's like, and I, like, run out to the living room, and I look at the door. And it's literally LL Cool J filming a scene, and I'm just, like, staring at him, thinking that I'm about to get broken into, and then realizing that my house is being filmed. Pretty cool stuff. Just a day in the life in Hollywood. That's about it. My house is getting more famous than me. My house's IMDb is more stacked than mine. That's alright. I'm happy for my house. I wish it the most success. And, yeah, that was the highlight of my week. That's about it. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Like it, leave a thumbs up, subscribe, rate it, review it on iTunes. That's all I want for Christmas. And just kidding, that's not true. If you want to send me anything, send it to the Comedy Store, 8433 Sunset Boulevard. I'll take your gifts. Happily. Enjoy the episode. Bye. Oh, happy holidays. Okay.
You got COVID test? Yeah, why not? You should wear a mask. Oh shit, sorry.
It's all good.
How are you? Good?
I'm good.
Sorry, I was early. I was like, okay. I felt like someone would see me taking a piss.
Oh, were you gonna do it in the street?
Oh yeah, I mean, but I couldn't find, and I was like, I'm here.
Yeah.
That's my fear is
getting caught pissing in an alley.
In public.
Yeah. Yeah. It's I think
an alley's one thing, but when you're like on the street like a fucking dog.
Yeah. That's hard, especially someone like
I
you,
have a, yeah.
you can't get caught pissing
I
in
don't
public.
need that. I
No,
don't need that.
no.
Now, I might cough. Don't judge my coughing.
We're gonna zoom every time you cough. We're just gonna zoom in and
Alright.
call it the COVID cam.
All right.
Perfect. Yeah, it's crazy. I was doing some digging on you,
All right.
and
All right, have you started?
yeah,
Oh, we're rolling?
we're rolling.
Okay.
We're rolling. I was doing some digging on you,
Okay.
and you have the craziest career.
It's
Like,
good.
do you realize that?
You know, when you get older and you look back.
How old are you?
I'm 50.
Oh, okay.
And I have kids, so you're able to sort of section out time. You know, like my oldest son is 20, and my other son is 18, and so when I look at I don't have like a great memory, but I remember being that age, so you're sort of able to, before I had kids, and clip what you did, what you were thinking, what you weren't thinking, what you were aware of. So I mean, I'm happy with what I've done. Obviously, no one's ever, unless you're like Leonardo DiCaprio, I guess you can never really be totally happy with,
For sure.
your opportunities, but I can't complain.
Yeah. Do your kids want to go into entertainment at all?
If they do, I don't know if in front of the camera. I think one of them is has a he could be an actor if he wanted to be.
Yeah.
But if, it's hard enough being an actor if you want to be, but if you don't want to be an actor, not that I'm yo, you should be an actor, but I wouldn't be surprised if he wanted to be an actor. But I don't think so. I don't think so. I think maybe behind the scenes, one of them writes. They're 18 and 20. They don't know exactly what they want to do. I knew what I wanted to do at that age.
Yeah.
It's clear, but they kind of they're figuring out what they want to do.
And how did you grow up and realize that you wanted to be in the entertainment world? Because didn't you start out doing stand-up?
I started doing stand-up. I wanted to be a basketball player. That's for real. And then that didn't come close. And then when I was 17, 18, 19, and I was not doing shit. And I had always loved movies, and I loved Eddie Murphy. And I would come visit my sister. My sister, Claudia, her stepfather is one of the owners of the Los Angeles Improv.
Yeah.
So when I'd come visit my sister in 1983. I came out and visit my half sister. I'm always saying that because she was in LA. I was in New York, and then I would see comedians. But I was 13. All I wanted to do was play basketball. But I would see Jay Leno, fucking Arsenio Hall, Roseanne before she was Roseanne, Seinfeld. All of them. I would see.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, as a kid, and then I'd go back to New York. But I wasn't thinking about it. But by the time I was 16, 17 and loving movies and loving Eddie Murphy, I was I want to be a comedian, and then I'm going to be a comedian. And at the time, the way comedians got into acting was you'd be a comedian, and then it would sort of be they would take your act and turn it into a show.
Yeah.
And that's what I thought I would do. And I wasn't really good at comedy, but I would get called in for auditions as a regular actor.
Because what was your act like when you first started? What were you, do you remember what you were talking about? Or
I was just talking, my act was similar to what it is now, but not that I have an act now, but it was just attitude. So
Yeah.
It was a similar attitude. I think I have more to talk about now, but I was 19. I wasn't one of these fucking comedian savants. You hear about these people they start off and they're just, Chris Rock or one of these people. I didn't know jokes. I just had attitude. I wasn't scared. And I would just I'm from New York and, talk shit. And then I got called in from it was quick because a couple of times I did open mics at the Improv, and then I would get called in for acting auditions, regular acting. But once I did that, I was this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do. This is what comes natural. There was no sports, as much as I loved them, it never came natural to me. The love came natural. And then comedy, it was clunky. I wasn't scared, but the act of it, you need an act, right?
Yeah.
You can't just talk shit. But then once I started acting, when I would read sides and audition, I was this is what I'm going to do. And then that was what I was that's what I was going to do.
That's crazy.
So, and then here I am now.
Yeah. In this dungeon of a home. Yeah. Thanks for being here.
I'm glad to be here.
Are you?
Yeah, if I wasn't, let me tell you something, Allie, if I wasn't glad to be, I wouldn't be, because everybody's got fucking podcasts.
That's
Podcasts
true.
are like assholes. How many podcasts do you get asked to, or do you do a week?
I don't get asked to do that many. I get asked to do like a decent amount, but
But how many would you say, like, would you, if you wanted to book yourself doing a podcast and you said yes, and it wasn't COVID, you could at least probably.
I could do a good amount of podcasts.
They're too much.
But there's too many.
There's too fucking many.
And then there's certain people who ask me who I'm like, I've never met you. I don't know what the...
They're like assholes. Podcasts
Yeah.
are like fucking assholes. They're too, there's too fucking many.
There's so many.
There's too fucking many. And so you say, when I say I'm
But
happy to be,
it's kind of like TikTok, the app, in the sense of like...
but it's not. But I have to go to your house and be a part of it. Like TikTok, do your thing.
Yeah.
Dance your fucking ass off. Do your hot girl shit.
Yeah.
Like, because you're big
know
on
the
your
hot
hot
girl
girl
shit.
shit. I know you're on your hot girl shit.
Yeah.
But cool. I could like your shit. I could even repost it if it's dope. But when I have to be a part of it, then it's a fucking problem.
Yeah.
Because everybody's got fucking podcasts. I don't know why everybody has podcasts. But you said, am I, when I said I'm happy to be here? I wouldn't be here if I wasn't happy.
That's true.
Because like, my new thing now is I tell people, hit me when you've done 50 episodes.
Yeah. I don't want to be a part of the beginning few episodes, especially looking back on my podcast, the first few episodes.
You don't know what you're doing.
No, you have no idea.
And the diligence and the tenacity to keep it going and the consistency. I mean, people think like the shit's easy. Like it ain't easy.
I wanted to give up on this podcast after every single episode.
How many have you done so far?
This is our 76th.
Okay, cool. Because I thought you were about to say like 17th and I was like, I
Yeah,
broke my
fuck.
fucking... All right, 76, right? And why do you want to give up after each one?
Because I have the same, I'm like, everyone has a podcast.
It's tough.
Everyone has a podcast. And it's also like, even though it's just me kind of talking shit, hanging
Right.
out on the couch, it still is like taxing. Or sometimes I'm like, oh, that was a funny episode. And then I'll re-look at it and I'm like, it wasn't as funny as I thought.
Do you watch them?
Only sometimes.
Yeah,
I kind of skim through. Because sometimes I'll remember something I said and I'm like, that was so good. I got to go back
it's
and look
brutal.
at it.
Just keep it as the fantasy.
I literally had my sisters are like my biggest fans. They're huge fans of yours.
How old are your sisters?
32 and 30, or maybe
So
31 and 29.
they're older?
They're older than me.
Okay. And what? You had your sisters what?
Yeah. And so they're like, very supportive of me. So they listen to the podcast. And I was on a trip with my sister and we both put it in. She was like, oh, I'm going to listen to your podcast. I'm like, let me listen. She fell asleep within 10 minutes.
That's your own fucking blood.
And I was like, this hurts.
Yeah, I haven't listened to it. I haven't listened to a full podcast of mine. I'm not even... I don't watch any of my shit. And I can't watch myself on stage. I could barely scrounge to listen to myself play back on stage. I can't even watch myself act anymore.
Yeah.
I used to watch it. I used to think it was dope.
That would be that's like my dream, but I know
It's
that
brutal.
Yeah, of course, because you always look at it and go, I could have done that better, or did I really say it like that?
And going to your original question is you start to see yourself age.
Oh.
And I've never like, you're like, oh man. Or if you see something like from 20 years ago, like, oh shit. And I'm like, that's literally not the same person. Like
Yeah.
I look like my kids.
Yeah.
Like I literally look like my sons.
But it's cool because you've been in so many movies and TV shows that it's like you have this crazy scrapbook of your life in television.
Yeah,
and movies.
it's cool. It's cool. Hopefully, one day I'll. I mean, I appreciate it. Like all the shit that I've gotten to do.
Yeah.
All of it. There's not one. Even the dog shit. I appreciate it.
Do you think like once you started acting that it just kind of like what do you think was the like? Do you think it kind of just snowballs like when it rains it pours type of thing, or like?
I think it snowballs. I think I was hungry. I think I was focused. I think I had talent. And then more than all that shit, the confidence and the diligence is the most important thing. Like talent is, you need that. Obviously you need that. You got to be in it to win it. But the focus and the belief, like it sounds like some shit like you're like 6th grade gym teacher would tell you, but like, and I wasn't aware of it, but when I look back, like the belief that I had in myself, even when I doubted myself or people doubted me, and the ability to put blinders on was the most important thing. Because like the amount of rejection that you get on a weekly basis in show business will fuck you up if you let it. Like
Yeah.
I never let any of the rejection. It just fueled me. Like to this day, like there was something this morning, like it doesn't even matter what it was, but I was just like, you know, like I was just like in my head, like it's like, it's just like you're like, okay, you know, oh, you want to fucking, okay, all right, motherfucker. It just it's like it just pushes me forward.
Yeah.
Whereas some people it could be like, oh, well, this person, and I'm like, no, you know, in my head I'm like, okay, you motherfucker, okay, you think this, and all right, this is all. It's like
It's the mental Sudoku,
yeah,
right?
yeah. You have to have that shit because it'll eat you up, and you'll be too demoralized if you don't have that shit. And it's not something you can that's beyond looks and talent. Like that's like as important as talent. It's like having that tenacity to keep going forward.
And when you were working in like TV and movies and stuff, were you still doing stand up from time to time, or did you just focus?
As soon as like I started acting, like I remember when I got the movie True Romance.
I just watched that the other night.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Had you seen it before?
No.
Did you like it?
I did, but to be completely honest, I was hanging out with a guy and we were watching it, and then we just kind of got, distracted.
You got distracted?
We got a bit distracted.
You and the guy?
Yeah.
So had he seen the movie before?
Yeah, and he was like, I can't believe you've never seen it. Because I was like, I want to watch this because Rapaport's coming on the pod, and I don't know, I just want to be like...
And you got distracted like cleaning?
No, it's a new guy,
But so you get distracted like, oh, like I'm going to make you something to eat?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, sure, something to eat or whatever. Uh-huh.
I hear you. So the reason why I said True Romance, because once I started acting, I fell so deeply and like in love with that. I was like, I don't want to do I just stopped doing it.
Yeah.
It was actually the retirement of 93, my infamous retirement of 93, which everybody talks about when I first retired in 1993. You know about this. No,
what? I was like, was there a huge thing that I missed? I read the Wikipedia. I read the IMDb.
I'm just playing.
Nothing.
No, but I just kind of went away.
Yeah.
I kind of went away. But
and then when did you get back into it?
Like about 2 years ago, I got.
What was that feeling like?
I love it so fucking much.
Yeah.
And I think I have more understanding of how to make an act. I love the freedom of it. I love the, you're the director, the editor, the star, the sound person, it's all you.
Yeah.
And with acting, as much as I love that, and I'm always going to love that, you're just that. And that's dope. But like the freedom like of comedy and the never sort of ending of, like you look at people like great comedians like Chappelle or whoever's been doing it for a long time that you're into, like you can do this shit forever if you want to, because life will always keep coming. And like somebody like that, like he just keeps going, and the more life experience he has, the more fucking shit he has. That's why he's so like dope.
Yeah.
And with acting, unless you're like the most successful, where you get to pick and choose what you want, you don't have that freedom of expression. And for me, like the freedom of expression, doing stand-up is the best shit. And the unpredictability of it, for better or for worse, is the best shit. Like I love that.
Yeah. Do you feel kind of like a beginner again in the sense of
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally like a beginner, but also like in terms of the craft of it, I feel like a beginner, but in terms of the comfortability, I feel comfortable doing it.
Well, I think that's something that like a lot of people, because I started stand-up I think when I was like 19.
Okay.
And so a lot of people when I started who were doing stand-up, they'd be like, oh, I wish I started when I was that young. I wish I started when I was that young. And then I look at people when I was starting at open mics who are older, and I'm like, they have such a great perspective and they know who they are and they know their opinion about things. And when I first started, I'm just like telling knock jokes,
How old are you now?
25.
So you only been doing it 6 years.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
You know what's brutal? The Comedy Store, they hit me up. They were like, we want to post a clip of you for our Instagram. from when you were doing Kill Tony. So I'm like, okay. And I did this podcast at the Comedy Store for like 2 years. I don't remember.
Kill Tony?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't remember specific sets that were better or worse than others. So I'm like, why don't you post the one of when Russell Peters and Joe Rogan were the guests on the show? Because I'm like, those are big guests. I'm sure I had a decent set, whatever. It's, it'll look cool. I watched it after they posted it. Such a bad set of mine because I was like a year or two in. Such a bad set. The comments underneath.
Did they say you suck?
Oh my God. Yeah.
Damn.
And I did. And they're right. 100%. I'm like, I get it. Like, they're totally right. But it's like, okay, you need to see current, present day Allie.
Right.
But I know that in, 4 years from now, I'm going to go, oh my God, don't watch
current,
2020 Allie.
yeah.
Yeah, that's awful.
Yeah, I mean, like all this fucking pictures, video, like shit that gets put up, it could fuck with you. It could fuck with you.
For sure.
And I mean, everyone, comments, everybody's got an opinion about shit, but I mean, it's.
Well, I feel like you probably get under heat a lot because you make the infamous Donald Trump Instagram videos.
Right.
But do you feel like a lot of people who are watching that are on like the side of, fuck Donald Trump or
both? I mean, to be honest, like before the Trump videos, I had never experienced like the amount of racist shit. I never had nobody say no Jew shit. I'm Jewish. I never had anybody say no Jew shit to me. No, and I know that sounds like naive, like, oh, it existed. Of course I know it existed. I get, but the shit that people say, like in regards to race and all that, like, I'm like, yo, this is crazy. Like, and then you'll like look them up and you're like, you're fucking 19. You're saying you this, you that. And I'm like that you think this way and that you think it's comfortable. But as far as like people liking it, don't like it, I think obviously more people that follow me like it, but there's definitely a bunch of people that don't like it. And it is what it is. I mean, at this point, it just is what the fuck it is. Like this whole, the politics and where we are and this 2020 and the Trump and all that shit it's just, I mean, when I was 25 years old, I didn't know a fucking thing about, I never spoke about politics, thought about politics up until Trump. Even Obama, like there's no, Obama's the best or fuck Obama or any of that stuff. Like it just, Trump has brought that out of me, and it's just kind of this thing that I don't know. Like it's just a constant thing because and it's also like a way for me to like I vomit. The videos are like vomit. I'm so frustrated. I just yeah. And there's not much thought into it, and I just put it out there, and whatever happens.
Yeah. Have you ever gotten like nervous posting it, or like gotten so much like negative comments or messages that you're like, maybe it's not worth it? Because I've had experiences where people would like have a lot of negative stuff to say
about you.
Yeah.
Like say after you said what?
There was a time, I would say like maybe a year ago, where some people were trying to like cancel me over some dumb.
They tried to cancel you?
Yeah.
What did they try to cancel you for?
It's kind of a long story. It wasn't necessarily canceling me. It was just I am friends with this band, and a lot of their fans are like younger girls, and I think a lot of them thought that I was dating one of the guys in the band, so they were just like mad at me for potentially being linked to this guy. So they were like looking at everything I did
to try to cancel you?
try and cancel me.
What do you think? I mean, what do you think of that cancel shit? Like the cancel shit is, because you're a comedian, you talk shit.
Yeah.
It's so fucking out of control. And sometimes people's agenda is like, like when they tried to cancel me, like to have that agenda, like we're going to try to cancel this person, is fucked up. But I mean, what do you think of that? Like, because you're in it, you're a comedian, but also you're a girl. I mean, you know what I mean? What do you think of it?
I think that there's like certain things. I think people should get called out if they do something inappropriate or wrong. Like Harvey Weinstein, 100%. That's like fully cancelable.
But that's not even like cancelable. That's like you're going to go to jail the rest of your life.
That's like,
not even
yes. But you know what I mean? It's like bringing light to situations that need to, have something like that where there
Right.
is justice in a
Right.
legal way.
Right.
And I think that there's certain situations where it's like, maybe you could just message the person and say, hey, this makes me uncomfortable.
Right.
Because X, Y, and Z, just so you know, going forward, like, this is the correct way to say something,
What do you
But
think?
instead, it's like, I'm just going to say this online without you being, like, without it being a conversation. I'm just going to say what is wrong.
Right,
Does
right,
that make
right,
sense?
right. I know what you're saying. Where you try to blow somebody up.
Yeah, where it's like, that's not the way to do it. That's
Right.
just going to make them...
People's agenda is to blow somebody up.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like all the time somebody needs to blow somebody up. And I also don't feel like, if people say things, or have like I was looking at this like Jimmy Kimmel, Karl Malone, blackface thing, and like people like they want to dig it up and then they want to fucking jump on you and pounce on you, and I don't know, it's a slip. I don't know, and especially because comedians, like you're under such sort of scrutiny. Like you say this, a joke, what's not a joke? Who can get away with things? Who can't get away with things? Why can they get away with it and not this person get away with it? Because if you're more famous, you could get away with it if you can't. But then Kevin Hart, they want to fuck. It's like, what the fuck is going on here, man?
Yeah.
It's like motherfuckers know if somebody's being ill-willed and mean-spirited and like viciously intended, or they're just saying a joke that, like Shane Gillis, like that whole thing, that was, they like put this scarlet letter on this dude. You know what I mean? Whether it was offensive, not offensive, but like, to like he gets hired, they dig up this thing, and then he gets fired. I'm like, the fuck is going on here?
Well, and I think the fucked up part, especially, is that you don't give anyone room for forgiveness when they do make a mistake. Because I'm sure there's plenty of times I've said something that's messed up and I don't realize it, or I'm just like, I pushed a joke too far because I'm like trying to get a reaction that I didn't get before. So I'm like, well, maybe if I lean in, it'll be funnier, and it's not. And then I realize like, oh, that wasn't cool, but then there's no room for forgiveness of me saying, yeah, that wasn't a good move, and that's my bad, and I'm gonna try not to do that again. I can't say I'm never going to, because who knows, I'm probably gonna make more mistakes. But if I came out and was vulnerable and was like, my bad, people are like, we don't care. We want an apology from you, but we don't actually care.
Right.
Yeah.
I know what you mean. It's just a bugged out. It's a bugged out time.
Well, because we don't have to talk about this, but you had like an infamous kind of battle with...
That I can't talk about because it's actually a legal thing.
Yes. Okay. But that seems like something that would... It seems stressful, that situation.
It's more of a business, like, business thing. Like the stress aspect of... Because I've had social media things where people will come at me and I'll check myself and see if... Like I'll go, what did I say? Because I believe like if you talk shit, like all right, I consider myself a shit talker, right? Like if I talk shit and I'm talking shit, we're bullshitting. Like sometimes when you talk shit to somebody, you might accidentally spit on them. So if I accidentally spit on you, we're bullshitting around. I go, oh, yo, I spit on you, excuse me. So it's like like you can talk shit and step over the line and go, yo, I didn't mean that, or this wasn't the, especially Twitter. Because when I write, I've only gotten in trouble when I write things. I've never gotten in trouble for saying things like, my eloquence as a writer isn't good. And you could just go, ba, 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 ba. And you'll go, I see why people think this, I didn't mean that. But in regards to people coming at me, if I go, well, I didn't mean anything by this, I don't think there's anything bad about this, then I get into some like Keanu Reeves Matrix shit. And I'm like, how can I fend everybody off? It's like, can I take on the thousands of bullets that are being thrown at me? It's almost like a shit talking challenge. I'm like, how can I do this? How deep in the pocket will I defend myself?
I think the key is don't
defend yourself.
No,
but I won't defend myself, but you'll be like, whoa, 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 whoa. And then I'll go, it's not defending, like I'll start talking shit back.
Yeah.
Cause now I don't do it anymore, but like, cause I was kind of new to social media, but like I will start like I'll look at your picture, and if your picture and you look fucked up, or your wife looks fucked up, and you're talking shit, then I go, that's what I'm saying. Like it becomes like almost like a roast, like Matrix.
Like a freestyle hip hop battle.
Freestyle hip hop, you know,
Tit for
Keanu
tat.
Reeves, like, you know, kicking and all that shit. You know, but sometimes I'm like, you know, when I've had that, it's happened a couple of times, you know, and I've stood, you know, my ground. I had a thing where I was making a joke. I made a video about influencers using subtitles.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So I was like, you know, I was like, I don't understand why. And I put the subtitles like, I don't understand why motherfuckers, you know, I was cursing. I don't understand why motherfuckers are using subtitles. Do you think what you're saying is so important? You know, what you're saying is not important. Like, you know, we hear what you're saying. And the hard of hearing community came after me. And they were like, they're using subtitles. And I was like, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking, like, I was making fun of the influencers. And I kind of had to double back out of that because I was like, I'm offending a community of people that I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah.
That was the one time where I was like, you know, I didn't like, because they were really fucking offended.
Yeah, I bet.
And I was just like, I made it clear what I was saying, but I was like, I can understand why people would be upset. And I was like, but the people that I'm making fun of, they're not doing it they're just doing it because, anyway.
I understand what
you know
you
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that was when I was like, oh shit, you know, because you don't want to.
Yeah. I was going to deaf meetups before COVID hit.
Were you really?
Yeah, I was trying to learn sign language.
Oh, okay.
So I'd go to these deaf meetups at Starbucks and practice signing.
Did you learn anything?
Yeah, but it's been so much time at this point that it's all just kind of.
So your skills aren't up to par?
No, I could get by.
What is that? Is that a vape?
This is a Juul.
Is
nicotine?
It's nicotine,
No
not weed? Okay.
No, I can't do weed.
You don't smoke weed?
I can't.
Do people think you smoke weed?
Yes.
Because
Do you
have
think
like.
I smoke weed?
Well, talking to you now, I wouldn't say you smoke weed.
But in
Just
the
'cause
past times.
Not when I've ever had any interaction with you. Not that I've had that many interactions
Yeah.
with you. I always see you at the comedy spots and all shit. But your photos, because you got like, you know, the Billie Eilish, like, you know, you could give the impression of a weed person.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, people definitely think that I'm a stoner, and then it crushes them when they find out that I'm not.
They're disappointed.
Very disappointed.
When you're not like, but you don't smoke weed at all?
No. When I was in high school, I really tried. Really tried to be a stoner because I was figuring myself out. A lot of my friends were stoners, and so I smoked weed all the time. Every single time I freaked out. I think there were 2 times that I smoked weed where I was like, this is cool. Every other time I'm like, call the cops on me.
Yeah, it's if it's not for you, I wish I could be like a one of these weed people all day, every day.
Did you do a lot of drugs when you were growing up? No.
I thought I was gonna be a basketball player.
Yeah.
I've never.
What about when you got into like movies and film?
Hell no. I didn't like really smoke weed until I had my first kid.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Had to take the edge off?
Yeah. And even then, I never became like I didn't really smoke weed till I had my first kid. And then I smoked weed more when I got divorced because like the dichotomy of single dad, full-time dad. So it's like a single divorced dad, like it was a week on, week off. So there's a week where you're just daddy daycare.
And
like,
then the week off, you're
like, I need to fucking rest from the daddy daycare. And then by the time the week, you know, where you have custody comes back, you know, like so that was that. But like, I just like, I got lung problems. I got, you know, like phlegm issues and all these kinds of Jewish issues.
Yeah, Jewish stuff.
Jew stuff.
Happy Hanukkah, by the way.
Thank you. Appreciate that. You're not a Jew.
I'm half, and it's on my dad's side, so it's very controversial. Am I Jewish? Am I not?
It's on your dad's side.
Yeah.
I don't know the name and the hair and like.
Well, Makovsky, a lot of people think it's Irish.
It's Polish?
It's, yeah, Russian, Polish.
Oh, okay. So you might.
I'm Jewish enough.
Jewish enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, I've said this a couple times on the pod before. It's annoying because I'll say that I'm half Jewish. It's on my dad's side. My mom's.
You got to explain. So you got to either say I'm Jewish or you can't get because for
then
Jews
people,
when you start talking that slick shit.
So I just need to say I'm Jewish.
I'm either Jewish or just be like, nah, I'm not Jewish.
Okay.
Like all that especially we're in Hollywood, like we smell it. Like Jews are like, are you a Jew or not a fucking Jew?
Okay, I'm
'Cause you got
Jewish.
the
It's
tattoo.
official.
Okay, but you know what I'm saying? Like, because we're gonna be like, you know, you're half Jew. Like, why don't you want to be a full Jew?
Yeah.
Like, and why are you like explaining yourself? It's either like you're either fucking all in,
Yeah.
like full knish, or you know, like cut the bullshit.
I want the best of both worlds.
No, you can't do
and
all
I can't.
that. No,
yeah.
you can't. You either got to be jump. And I'm not saying make a decision now. I don't want to.
That's kind of Jewish of me, though,
pressure
right?
you in right now. That is kind of Jewish.
Where I'm like, I want what I want.
Right.
And
that,
you guys can have the
yes,
leftovers.
Yes, right. Yeah, but no, but you got to either like jump in the fucking pool,
Yeah.
or not.
Yeah. I was. It's annoying because I not anymore, but back in the days, I would tell people I'm half Jewish on my dad's side, and they'd be like, "You're not really Jewish," and I'm like, "Tell that to the neo-Nazis.
That's
They
true.
don't care.
I like
those
that
are the one group of people who are like, you're Jewish.
No, enough. You're Jewish enough.
Yeah.
I like that you said back in the days because there's a big controversy, at least in my mind, because people say back in the day.
Oh, and now.
Well, you say back in the days. I say back in the days.
Mm-hmm.
Majority.
Wait,
of people,
you say back in the day.
I say back in the days.
Oh, didn't I
Because
just say that?
You said days,
Okay.
I say respect because back in the day is just one day.
Yeah.
But back in the days, like it could have
That's a
been,
period
it
of
wasn't
time.
just Tuesday. It was any of those days of yesteryear. Do you know what I'm saying? So like a lot of people, they say back in the day, singular. And I'm saying it wasn't just one day. It was that whole time of plural.
Sure.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Many days.
Boom.
Yeah. What
was your favorite podcast you've done out of your 77?
Oh,
Because
of
my
this
goal
podcast?
is to try to be the best guest. I don't know if I'm there yet. I feel like we got to amp it up. But like what would be your top 3 podcasts?
You're trying to be the best. So
Gotta
I
be.
don't always do guests. Guests are a special occasion.
Mm-hmm.
Or sometimes I'm just like, I have nothing funny to say, so I'm just going to have someone I think is interesting on the podcast. That way
Right.
it's less about me.
Right.
And
So
more
you
about-
do straight solo sometimes?
Oh, yeah.
Me too.
Oh, yeah.
So what do you get from that? Are you in here with what's from
Anthony.
Anthony, he's an anti-masker, this fucking Anthony. I asked this.
He's a bit of an anti-masker.
Are you an anti? When was the last time you got COVID tested, Anthony?
Like 2 weeks ago.
2 fucking weeks. How old are you?
30.
Okay. Anyway.
It's in my car. I'll go get it right now.
No. It's okay. It's okay. Go ahead, Anthony. With the solos, the solo pods, because I do solo pods too.
Yeah.
Do you enjoy them? Like when you do them, do you go all the way through? Do you take a break?
No, I do them all the way through.
Straight all the way through.
So there's every once in a while I'll be like, let's pause for a second. We'll take like a 2-minute break.
Yes.
We'll just start talking because sometimes I'll feel like I'm just rambling for no reason. I'm just talking because I know I need to fill a certain amount of time for the podcast. And so I'll kind of look at Anthony and be like, we need to take a break. And then we'll just start talking. He'll be like, what'd you do? And then all of a
At
sudden.
least you're in here with Anthony though.
Oh, are you doing it all yourself?
In the room by myself.
No, that's psycho.
But it is psycho, but it's
very Castaway of you.
It's Castaway. But I don't know. There's something when it's cooking.
Yeah.
There's something about it where it's like, I mean, I find that now I need to breathe. That's my new thing. Cause I'll talk for like the first 15, 20 minutes is usually when I have like my biggest burst of energy. And like, now I realize I have to like breathe in between, but you're by yourself. So
Yeah.
if I say, Allie, like, oh, you're rocking your Nikes, you'll go blah, blah, blah. And while you're doing that, I'm naturally breathing.
Yeah.
But when you're just talking, I sometimes don't breathe.
Nonstop.
Like you're just going and like, I'll get like a headache and all that shit. But when you're flowing by yourself, like there's something very satisfying, fulfilling, obviously extremely narcissistic, but
For
also, it's like, I imagine it's a high to me. Like when
Yeah.
you're rocking by yourself and you're really doing like a well succinct podcast.
Well, I mostly don't really acknowledge Anthony.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not acknowledging him either because I don't want to fucking catch what he has. But do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. Well, and when I first started the podcast, it was a little over a year ago, and so I was going on the road. I was doing crazy stuff. I was hanging out with friends. And so I had a lot to talk about every week. I'm like, this is what I did this week.
Right.
And that was kind of the goal of the podcast
Right.
was to be kind of a diary.
Right. It's
and now
tough
with COVID, I'm like, I have nothing
it's tough.
exciting. Yeah.
I agree somehow, some way. And I totally know what you mean because like, you're like, oh, I went to Indiana or I went to wherever the fuck. I was frightened at the beginning of the pandemic that there was going to be nothing to talk about. But because of so much that's going on, it's, in my opinion, made me better at it.
Yeah. Maybe
it's because like you just have to be more focused because there are less things, or you have to go like deeper into the things, or I don't know. But it's been fucking crazy, man. This fucking year has been fucked up. And the fucked up thing about this fucking year is that when it ends, it's just gonna roll over.
Yeah.
Like shit's not gonna like January 1st. It's not gonna be like Happy New Year. Like we're out of 2020.
That's what I hate about
shit's gonna
New
be
Year's.
popping in 2021 at least
For sure.
for a while.
For sure. And I don't like New Year's because everyone thinks like, oh my God, it's a new year. I'm going to have a whole new perspective. No, it's every single day.
No, we're rolling over.
Every single day is a new day. You can't just look at an entire chunk of time and say like, oh, this is going to be different. It's like, no, you have to wake up every day being like, what do I want to accomplish?
And especially this year. Because you're
For
like,
sure.
we're not going to just be like, well, 2020 sucked. Because knock on wood, it's better.
Yeah.
But it ain't going to be better on January 3rd.
Yeah.
I asked you, you went on the road.
Yes.
So
Oh yeah, you hit me up.
What was that like?
So I did shows in Texas.
Uh-huh.
And
What kind of spots? Like, give me the details.
Okay, so I did one gig in San Antonio, and
You
then
flew to San Antonio.
I flew.
Okay.
Yes, I flew. Well, I flew to Austin.
Did a show?
I stayed at a friend's place. The next day, we drove to San Antonio. It's like an hour away. I did this show. It was in like a very large, like dance hall type of room.
It's not a comedy club?
No.
Okay.
No, not a comedy club. This was like a bar and grill, like a restaurant on one side, and then the back room, there was like a stage for like, I'm sure they have like country music and stuff.
But it felt like a stage.
Yes, it was a stage.
And how many people were in the room watching you do comedy?
I think there were, I'm so bad at estimating numbers. I want to say 50 to 60.
Really?
Yeah.
It
was a large room, and it was all spread out.
Did you feel nervous?
No.
Have you done like official shows? Like we've done these little,
like backyard, outdoor.
Thank God for them.
Yeah.
Fucking thank God for them shits.
Yeah, it's very different than like
like when you're on the road like now, is it weird? Like
no,
is the vibe weird when you get on the stage?
No, because when you're in Texas, a lot of people in Texas have been back to somewhat normal. In LA, everything's pretty locked down, and so in Texas, they're used to going out to eat.
Right.
So going to a comedy show that's indoors isn't like a weird
thing for them.
for
They're not like bugged out by it.
Yeah. And I personally am not super bugged out by it. But the first time I went to Texas a month before this most recent gig with my friend who was headlining, and we did the show in Austin, and that one was much more intimate. And that was like the first time that I was like, ooh, I kind of feel a little bit uncomfortable doing this.
Yeah.
But then I kind of think about it, I'm like, well, these people, it's hard because I justify both ways of being like, this is pretty risky. But at the same time, like, if their city is open.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. I mean, if I was honest, I don't mean like age, but if I was your age, I'd be different. But like, I can't get no fucking coronavirus. And I think that's the problem is that because I'm young, I think that I'm invincible. I mean, hopefully you are.
Yeah.
And hopefully, God forbid, everybody's, but I just get... I just get freaked out. Like, my last show beforehand, I don't remember where the fuck it was, but it was like March. It was like, it was kind of looming. It was, I was somewhere on the road. Maybe it was Sacramento. Maybe I think it was Sacramento or Portland or something like that. You started, it was sometime beginning of March before the shutdown. I'm doing meet and greets and, I love doing meet and greets and I love, like every single person, I'd hug them, if they want, I'd give the dudes pounds and shit like that. And, I don't know, like I just get, you know, I'm germish, but like now, like I'm just like, you know, and the comedy, I get bugged out. Like even when we do the little joints that we've done out here, like I just get like fucking freaked out by the shit.
Well, that's what's also interesting is like the mental toll that it takes on people. Cause like I know a lot of friends who have become like completely reclusive, and also like it's like triggered this OCD in their brain where they're like washing their hands a lot more. Like not like, you know, they were out. And
but
now
it can
they're
make you nuts though.
For sure.
Yeah, I don't know. But I love doing it so much, but I can't do that. Like when I saw you were in San Antonio, I was like, I'm gonna go fucking do this bitch's motherfucking podcast. Like, what the fuck is this doing?
Yeah, no, I get tested very often because, it would hurt me to know that I, you know, got someone
You're
sick.
a super spreader.
Yeah.
Essentially, you're a super spreader.
Yeah, so I get tested extremely
the
regularly.
Resting Bitch Face Podcast, aka the Super Spreader Podcast.
You want to know what I did for Halloween?
What?
I don't know if I can. Have I talked about this? Not on Patreon? Patreon only.
I'm gonna fucking lean over here.
No, I got tested very recently.
All right. Okay.
Oh, you know what? NCIS, not to brag, but NCIS was filming at my house, and I had to be there when they were filming, so I got tested 4 days in a row.
Up the nose?
No, throat.
Oh, okay. What, the spit?
No, they did throat swabs.
Oh, really? I haven't done that one yet.
Yeah, it was a throat swab.
But it was supposed to be a good one.
Yeah, I went to like an actual place, not just like drive through.
Yeah, I don't want any fucking parts of that shit. I don't want any fucking parts of that COVID shit. I really don't. I don't want any parts of it. Trust me. Okay,
I have more questions.
Go ahead.
What got you into hip hop so much, and specifically a tribe called Quest? Because isn't your son named after?
My son's name. Well, one of my son's name is Julian. The other son's name is Maceo.
Yeah.
And Maceo from De La Soul.
Oh,
and
that's right.
But you know they're like, you know, in sync. But and Maceo from James Brown. Maceo. He's always saying Maceo, and I always love that name. And so, but hip hop is just like, who's calling you?
My agent.
Okay. All right.
Big deal.
Okay.
I'll be like, me and Michael are doing a tour, a
super
super spreader tour. Texas.
But hip hop, like, you know, I grew up in New York City.
Were you bullied as a kid?
Nah. Unfortunately, at times when I was younger,
Did you just knock on wood for being bullied?
No, just because, I don't know why. Maybe I'm just because I'm freaked out by the COVID. But I wasn't bullied as a kid. I wasn't I was I wasn't a bully, but I was definitely an asshole.
Yeah.
Like I was a lot. You know, when I was younger, and then I started being around like tough kids, and that naturally made sense to me. Like I like the sort of pecking order that you understand.
Yeah.
Being around real tough kids, especially for somebody that's disruptive, has like a natural disruptive sort of boundary pushing personality. Like being around real tough guys made perfect sense to me.
Why do you think LA people are so soft?
Our business or LA? I mean, I don't think people that are necessarily from LA are soft, but our business is soft. Show business is soft.
You think so?
Fucking show business is soft. Not like saying like, you know, like hand-to-hand combat soft, but like with the feelings and the sensitivity and the bullshit and
I think probably because there's so many egos.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And we're very sensitive.
Yeah.
Like very sensitive. People get their fucking feelings hurt very easily, and they manifest themselves in different ways.
Well, I think that's why bringing it back to what you were saying about acting and having this like confidence and just kind of knowing that you were meant to do that. I think like, oh fuck, what was I gonna say? Something about like I think when I was first starting stand-up, I was so confident. Right. And like, even though I'm still a sensitive person, I think I had this confidence to carry me through where like I'd get hurt, but I'd be like, yeah, but I'm like the shit.
In your head, right?
Yeah.
You have to have that.
Yes.
If you don't have that, you can't do this.
No.
You know, when you look at like I was watching, I saw it once all the way through. I was watching like a clip of young Woody Allen.
Yeah.
Right, and you see Woody Allen, and he's up there with his, in his suits, and he's got his glasses, and it's an act.
Yeah.
Because this guy's trying to fuck girls. He knows he's smart. He knows he's funny. He knows he's fucking like on some shit. And that persona was, but inside, like he's neurotic too. You can be neurotic, but like you have to have that. I don't care who it is. That's why like when actors like play like all coy and shy, I can't stand that bullshit.
Well, and that's what I hate.
I can't stand coy and shy actors, and I can't stand coy and shy comedians.
I hate when, a lot of dudes get into stand-up because they're like, I'm finally going to get girls. Like, I never got,
Do they think that?
I think so. I think it's this persona where they can finally be a different person on stage and portray themselves in their own light, that's different from how they feel like they were portrayed growing up.
Right.
And so a lot of dudes are like, they go on the road, they get to hook up with people, they feel like they're hot shit. And I feel so bad for the women who fall for that, because behind the act and the lights and the stage and all of that, it's this sensitive, sad, not always sad, but just this person who probably has like some low self-esteem and they're trying to get validation on stage.
What do you think of like, as a female in comedy, like, and obviously there's women around, girls around. I don't want to misgender anybody, because that singer Shawn Mendes, he got in trouble for misgendering.
Oh yeah, Sam Smith.
He misgendered him.
Yeah, but they were all cool.
They're cool.
Sam Smith was
it could have went left though.
For sure.
I feel like if I innocently misgendered Sam Smith, I don't think it would go as well for me.
Yeah.
I just, even if it was innocently, like if I misgendered him or misgendered
them.
See, I just did it there.
Yeah.
And I wasn't even trying to do it.
Yeah.
If I misgendered them, Sam Smith being the group them, I just don't feel like, even if just like there, like if it was an accident, I don't feel like, oh, ha ha, I didn't mean it, would go over. That's just because I have like Jordans and jeans on. But the question is for you, like, what is your perception of like comedians in general? Like, you're around them, you're in clubs, we were in fucking, where did we were at Big Wang's. We were at we did comedy in a chicken wing spot
place
in North Hollywood.
Yeah.
That was a low.
It's a low.
I mean, I was happy to do it, and I'm not disrespecting the people that came out, but when you think of
it's hard to post that flyer and feel good about it.
But when you're like thinking like, well, you're from Arizona, right?
No, I'm from Long Beach. My sister lives in Arizona.
Okay. Listening.
Yeah.
When you're in Long Beach and you have like dreams and aspirations, and like you're like, oh, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that. You never think, I'm gonna be at Big Wang's in North Hollywood doing stand-up and could potentially catch and give coronavirus at the same, like that's never part of the collage of highlights in your career. No disrespect to Big Wings, and I'm happy, and I hopefully will get to go back to do more shows at Big Wings.
I'd be very grateful to do that.
Very grateful. Yeah. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it kind of fucked me, and it's like later than I like to be up. I'm like, it's 10 o'clock. For me, that's late. I'm at Big Wings, and then when I'm in there, like they're not even giving you chicken wings. It's like you're just there.
Uh-huh.
But what is your take? Like if somebody said to you, what are comedians like? What would you say in general?
Present day, what would I say?
Yes, like being around them. Like, what would you say? Like, what's that like? Being a chick around guy comedians.
Okay, so when I first started, a lot of my friends from high school and a few friends from when I briefly went to college, I was in high school and then I was kind of in college and then I started doing stand-up. So my friend group completely changed and I was surrounded by comedians. And when I would hang out with old friends from high school, it wasn't the same. I felt like I had kind of transformed already and evolved. And I think the difference is that with comedians, it's just a different level of thought. Not that they're better or worse or whatever. It's just a different type of thinking.
Right.
Where when I'm with I still have some close friends from high school. And when we hang out, I kind of have to remember that I'm not with my comedian friends. And I can just take things seriously and be like, yeah, that is interesting.
Because comedians are always bullshitting around. And...
Yeah. So I think that's, I guess, my take is that everyone's kind of
Who are your favorite comedians? Like who are your like top 5? Like you talk about hip hop, you know, people, or basketball is usually like who are your top 5, or hip hop, who are your top 5 comedians that you love the most?
So this one holds a special place in my heart, and it's a very specific time period of this comedian. But I'm going to say 2005 Dane Cook.
Uh-huh.
Huge for me.
Uh-huh.
That
Why?
was because I was in 5th grade. My sister would pick me up from school. She had his CDs because he was like, you know, huge.
Right.
So we'd listen to his CDs on the drives home, and it was the hardest I've ever laughed.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And it made an impression on you.
And still listening back to those like albums from 2005, 2006, still I think are hilarious.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Then I would say when I was in high school, my senior year, Crystalia. I would watch his Laugh Factory clips all the time. And then like when I started doing stand up, like I was just drawn to him. And I think it's that like high energy, like goofy. And then Fahim Anwar, currently one of my favorites.
Yep.
So funny. And then Morgan Murphy.
Oh yeah, I know Morgan.
Yeah, because when I was in college and I was really wanting to do stand up, as much as I love those high energy acts, she was someone who I was like, I identify with someone.
And the vibe of it.
Yes. So
That's
I thought
dope.
that was really cool.
That's dope. And then one more.
Chappelle's kind of a back and forth for me. Sometimes I don't like that everyone just like, I feel like Chappelle could go on stage and talk about something so unfunny, so boring, so uninteresting, and people would be like, that was brilliant.
Right.
And I don't like that.
I agree.
But that's not his fault.
No, that's not his fault.
But sometimes I have seen him in certain...
Who was that? Was that
that was a random number.
Was it a spam? I'm so fucking sick of the fucking spam.
I get so many.
And my number, I'm sure your audience won't take advantage of this. My number is somewhere on the internet because I get crank call every day.
Really?
Every day. I have this thing now. It's like a
Why don't you get a new number?
Because then I have to it's just the tediousness of it, and then I'll only get a new number if like I could get like, you know, like my accountant or somebody to put it in their name, because I'm afraid like it's gonna catch up with me.
Yeah.
And also then I got to track down the people that like, I'll remember like the people that I speak to now, but like what if it's like somebody that I didn't, you know, I don't talk to all the time, but I haven't spoken to in a little while.
Well, this is the trick. This is what you do. You just post on your Instagram story. You say, hey, got a new phone. And then your friends will message you their number.
Yeah.
And that way you can...
But every day I get crank calls, but I have this robocall thing. And it has like fake answers. So like you'll go, hello, like if you're the crank caller, if you, Allie, are the crank caller. And then it, like the robo thing will be like, you know, who is this? Who is this? You know, and it'll keep saying, who is this? And, you know, or it'll be like, hello, are you
Is that your voicemail?
No, it's this robo thing. Like, so if it's an unidentified number, it'll...
Interesting.
But I get them every fucking day.
When I was younger, I made prank phone calls.
Me too.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Of course. But I did it as a job for a radio station.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Was it fulfilling?
It was super fun.
When it hits.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was pre-recorded. It was all pre-recorded, so it wasn't live, but...
Right, so when you got the good person.
Yeah, oh my God, it was so fun.
Just to prove how excited I am to be here, and you brought up crank calls, I'll tell you a story that I've never told, because you brought up crank calls. I fuck with it. I fuck with it hard.
My sister had a great question for me to ask you.
Okay, good.
She said...
What's your sister's name?
Courtney and Brittany.
Courtney and Brittany. Which sister asked this question?
Courtney asked this question.
Do we call her Court?
Sometimes, but usually
she prefers
just Courtney.
Okay.
Yeah. She's like a classy, like...
All right.
Yeah.
We don't want to step on Courtney's...
No.
All right.
God, no. So she was asking in the comedy world, who would be like the Housewives cast of the comedy scene?
Good question.
That's what I said when she told me that.
Well, it's got to be females? Yeah, it's got to be females.
No, but it could be dudes too.
Okay. Well, you got to be in there because
of
your
course.
sister asked.
And you're doing my podcast.
Right.
So.
I would put Bill Burr because he would get pissed off. You know.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Shit, man. That's a good question. I mean, and then that's a good question. I have to think about that. But like you, Bill Burr, I got to be in it because if we're doing a reality, I get to be
You're
a
in it,
housewife.
for sure.
I gotta fucking.
I feel like Whitney Cummings.
She'd be, she'd be good too. I mean, my girl Nikki Glazer, because that bitch is funny.
I love Nikki.
I fuck with her. She's a funny motherfucker.
Yeah.
She makes me laugh. I think that would be a good, and then, you know, you throw in like, I have to think, I'm not getting a good answer because it's, Courtney's question is so good, but also so way out there.
It's very out there.
Like, it's like great, but it's also like, I also
you
need
have to really process
I need to
it.
ponder it. So
Yeah.
like, you know, again, like when I come back with the De Niro behind the paywall stuff, I'll do the full cast because you need 6 housewives to really play.
Have you ever met Timothy Chalamet?
Haven't met him.
Okay. What do you think about him? Because
I
he's a
think
New York guy.
Talented, good looking, charismatic, seems genuine, and seems comfortable with himself.
Yeah.
What are you asking me about him? Because he was on Saturday Night Live?
Yeah. And he's like a New York dude. You're a New York dude.
I think he's like 22 years old. Like you could ask my son, you ever meet Timothy Chalamet? Like that's at the point where I'm at. I could say to one of my sons, yo, you ever meet Timothy Chalamet? You know what I mean?
Would your sons have met him?
Would I have what? No, but I'm saying they probably have more of a chance to like. I haven't met him yet. I'm sure. Like he's. I think he's Jewish too. Because I think he's Jewish.
Okay.
I don't, you know, but I think he claims full Jew, unlike some people we know.
Well, I'm learning.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know. I don't watch the show,
Mm-hmm.
but I know. I did. Atypical. People love that
Good show.
So many of my friends from high school were like, "Oh my god, tell them I love Atypical."
Fun show. We're getting ready to start in January.
Whoa.
Because COVID.
Yeah.
And I'm knocking on wood because we were supposed to start in June. Obviously, that didn't happen. And then we were supposed to start in October. And that didn't happen. And now we're scheduled to start January 13th.
That's fun. Are you looking forward to that, or are you kind of nervous?
No, I'm looking forward to it. I'm nervous. I'm just nervous that we're not going to do it.
Yeah. But how do you feel? Because I know a lot of people have been talking about how does Hollywood get to keep production open, but
Listen,
we can't
I don't
eat
make the
out?
fucking rules.
But how do you feel about that?
I mean, I wish everybody could work.
Yeah.
And I wish everybody could work safely. I hate seeing, you know, for me, it's just New York and LA because that's where I hate all the businesses being shut down, particularly in New York City, particularly in LA. The restaurants, the cafes, I can't stand it. I hate it. And if they could work, I would say go to work. And just like I'm saying, like, you know, we're fortunate that whatever the fucking reasons, whether it's hypocritical or not, you know, I know that, you know, the difference between a coffee shop or a restaurant and a set right now is that the sets they're bubble likes. Yeah. So, you know, I'm blessed. And anybody who's working on a show, anybody who's, you know, doing comedy or, you know, doing things that are sanctioned and you're able to do them. And I don't think anybody would say you shouldn't do them. The hypocrisy of it is frustrating for everybody.
Yeah.
And I have nothing but, you know, like I just hate seeing places, you know, there's been so many iconic places in New York that I've fucked with my whole life that have been shut down, let alone the restaurants that I know the owners of. I know, you know, this one restaurant that I go to all the time out here. I know the owner, the one of my son's friends, you know, is like a chef there, you know, like I hate seeing that shit.
Yeah.
And like the waitresses and the waiters. So I hate it. So, but, you know, fortunately when I go to work on the show, you know, hopefully when I go to work on the show, everybody will be safe because I am nervous about it.
Yeah.
But it's like the precautions they're taking are,
Definitely.
it's, you know, you talk about rehearsing and saying your lines. You'll have plenty of time to say your lines because you got the mask on. Then there's a whole thing, and you got to get tested and swabbed. And
unrelated, but about food in New York. Do you like Veselka?
what is Veselka?
They have like pierogies. It's
Oh
like
yeah.
So
yeah,
good.
Yeah. Because you're on some hamburger shit, right?
I was doing this thing.
Like you were doing like a
Oh
hard,
my god, it ruined me.
but last week, like
Yes.
some pork shit.
Yeah. So there's this.
Yeah. What are you trying to do, man?
I don't know. Sometimes I just like.
But
you know
every
what it is?
day.
Okay, so there's
Explain
this,
it to the people because if they don't follow you on Instagram, which I would imagine they do, but I was like, yo.
I know I needed to.
But
chill.
I wanted to, like, I was gonna hit you today, be like, yo, are we burgering up, or are we? And then like,
you got to stop by. I was telling the guy. Okay, so there's this place called Burgers 99.
where's that?
It's on La Brea.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on La Brea. Great burgers. The guy who works there, Brick, he's my homie, and he's
Okay.
great. He's a great dude, and I told him you're coming on the pod. He's like, that dude's a legend. Like, that's awesome.
So if I go in there, can I get like
He's
a burger?
gonna give you a free burger.
I don't want the free shit, especially now. Or if you give me the free shit, I'm tipping, and you're gonna accept my tip.
He will accept your tip.
Right? You're like, oh, he'll accept the fucking
He'll accept the tip.
Right.
But he's great, and
I feel like that
he'll
was a
have you-
threat. Like he expects like a really good tip. Like I'm gonna give you the free burger, but like the tip.
He doesn't
Okay,
even care.
anyway, go ahead.
He's just gonna be happy that you're there. You're gonna sign the wall in the kitchen. You
Well,
know,
don't
the whole
push it,
thing.
Brick.
Yeah.
Don't fucking push it.
But they do special menu items. So normally they have the regular menu: cheeseburger, double cheeseburger, Western cheeseburger. You know, they have their regular menu.
My wife better not see this.
Okay.
Go ahead.
And then I'm sure she won't. And then I mean, seriously.
But she behind the paywall. Everybody's gonna see it. Go ahead.
Okay. And then they'll have special menu items on certain days of the week. Sometimes it's every single day. Sometimes it's just on Friday. They do their chicken sandwich on Friday. It's the best chicken sandwich.
Okay.
I know it's a burger joint, but their chicken sandwich, so good. So I went in on Monday, and they were doing the special menu items each day of the week, and I was like, I kind of want to I want to try every single special menu item.
5 days a week.
7.
Damn.
And so I did it.
You're not fucking around.
No. So I did it every single day. I got a new item on the menu. And I literally 2 days ago was in so much pain. I had to take like 3 laxatives.
Ugh.
Still in so much pain.
Yeah, you can't.
I got a bladder infection from
Damn.
being constipated.
Damn.
I know that this isn't like a cool, fun, like
Behind the Patreon.
behind the paywall.
Behind the fucking paywall.
I was in so much pain, like stomach cramps I couldn't stand.
I never experienced constipation in my life because I have ulcerative colitis. So that's not my thing, but it'll the ramifications of it the other way. But I saw you were on there like not fucking around.
No, I never fuck around when it comes to food. I love food.
But you pulled back.
No, I ate every single day.
No. I'm saying since then.
Yeah, I'm taking a break.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't fuck. Like that'd have to be like a one-off. But I'm also trying to get on some vegetarian shit, but it's not really that.
They have a vegan burger.
I'll fuck with the real burger or the chicken. Like I'll go there, but I can't. Like that's 7 days a week. Don't you find being on the road is a terrible, unhealthy place to be?
It's so unhealthy.
In
Because
terms
you're
of
just getting the quickest things.
and the
you're
chicken
eating
wings at the club,
food. Yeah.
or like you go like and you're gonna want to try like the burger spot in the town and
Yeah.
the ribs and
Yeah.
it's
There's certain comedians I've heard of who will, when they get into town, they go to like Whole Foods and they grocery shop and
I can't do that. I mean. I can't do that.
Luckily, I'm young enough where it doesn't affect me too much. But after this past week of doing all that burger heavy foods, I'm like, oh, I'm starting to get to a place where I need to like be more considerate.
Yeah, you can't fuck with that. And then the 2 shows, like the Saturday second show, like that 4th show when you're doing like 2.
Yeah.
And you're eating, like it could fuck you up.
It hits you.
Can also because it's late. Because again, like that shit's like 10:30.
Yeah.
That's beyond.
And you're a sleepy guy. I'm a sleepy girl. I get real sleep. I'm not a night owl.
Me neither.
So after that second show on Saturday, I'm
It's
like, I want to go home.
Rough.
Yeah. I have to like fake energy shadow box
Yeah,
before I
you
go
got
on
and then you
stage.
got to drink a soda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your go-to soda?
Coca-Cola?
Not diet?
Nah. If I really need it, I'll do a half Coca-Cola, half Red Bull. I know this is riveting. Like I know like the people watching like, well, that is why I waited an hour.
See, this is why I like my podcast because I talk about, and this is the stuff that people don't talk about normally.
No, and also like it's like, you know, like we probably going for like 45, 50 minutes so far. And people like the whole time they're like, I just want her to ask him what's his go-to soda. And then he's gonna say, you know, like, you know, people are like, oh, is it
Fanta.
Mountain Dew? Is it orange? Like, what do you think a rapper? And then he says, he's a Coca-Cola guy, but then when I threw in there like and a splash sometimes of Red Bull
Whoa.
for the second show,
Yeah.
and people are like, "Fuck, man,
He's
that's
crazy.
I never thought that shit."
Sugar-free Red Bull?
Nah, if I need the Red Bull, I gotta go
All in.
If I'm at that point. But one time I did,
Bulls to the walls, as I like
it
to
got
say.
me too fucked up. Like I was like on stage like speedballing, like
Oh,
I was
that
like,
sucks.
"Yo." And just to answer your question as far as the drugs, because you asked me this earlier, the only thing I've ever done is weed. So like. I've never pilled,
Whoa.
never sniff, never shot the weed. But
Yeah.
I wish, like going back to that coming full circle again, riveting. hashtag riveting, like the weed, but I not really fucking with the weed, especially during the corona, because you need them lungs. You need that capability.
Yeah.
Like, anyway.
Well, I was gonna ask you something.
What else? You're pulling from the phone?
Well, yeah, because people ask questions, and I want to fulfill, you know, the audience.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I was gonna ask you. I have a friend who is on the New York Jets.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard that you're really good at fantasy football. You're really good at fantasy football.
I'm as good as, yeah. What about it?
Anyway, the Jets suck.
They fucking suck.
Yeah.
Who's the friend on the Jets?
Sam Darnold.
Oh, you know Sam Darnold? Sam smooches Darnold.
Oh, because he got an STD or something.
How do you know Sam Darnold?
I was doing a show with Rogan, and I guess he was at the show.
Does he have a big head in real life, like physically?
I've never met him.
Oh.
Yeah, because he was just at a show I did. Someone was like, "Oh, I saw that Sam Darnold follows you." I was like, "Who's that?" I click, and I'm like, "Whoa,
I fuck with Sam Darnold.
Yeah, I like him.
But the Jets are fucked up. Sammy D, like, yo, they're. But I don't blame him. It's a culture of fuck up, and I want them to do well, and I like Sam Darnold.
Do you think at this point, though, if you're a football team and you're losing every single game, is there part of you that's like, let's just keep it going? Or do you think...
I don't think the players feel that way. I think there could be people in the organization, but I think, like, just like if you're a comedian and you're up in front of 8 people, if you're a football player and you're playing football, that ain't like it's football.
Yeah.
Like, especially like... You could physically get yourself fucked up. Like I think, like I believe professional athletes, that competitive nature, or you're a pro. Like if you're doing a show, you're gonna try to give something, even if it's not a big. Even if you're at Big Wang's in North Hollywood, like you don't want to go up there and be because you're being disrespectful to the people that have paid.
Yeah.
Let alone yourself, right? And if it might not go well, like the Jets season. Or a particular, stand-up gig, but you still want to try. At least that's how I feel.
Who are your favorite teams? Football, basketball?
Giants, and then my NBA is all over the place.
Okay.
But my NBA is
I feel like you were a Celtics fan at some point.
Hell no.
No?
I'm New York.
Oh, okay.
Not Celtics. Knicks. But but basketball is my... Like,
that's your thing?
That's my favorite shit.
Do you get courtside seats?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Sometimes. I'm untechnically banned from courtside seats at the Garden, Madison Square Garden.
What happened?
Because the Knicks are so fucking whack, and I've censored myself for so long. And I do these sports shows, like Fox Sports and all that shit, and plus with Twitter, and I like I like golly gee and because I knew that it would compromise the courtside seats. And then finally I was like, fuck it. Fuck the Knicks. Fuck the owner. The Knicks are fucked up. The owner's fucked up.
Why? Who's the owner?
His name is James Dolan. It doesn't matter. But I just had to like put him on blast and just talk shit. And now I don't get the seats. And then the NBA, I get seats from people that I know on the teams. But the NBA, I'm kind of banned because of LeBron James.
Whoa, what's your beef with LeBron?
It doesn't matter about what the beef is, but I've talked so much shit about LeBron James that allegedly, and I don't want to, I don't need any more lawsuits, but allegedly, and I have sniffed around, allegedly he put the kibosh on all my courtside seats.
Whoa.
But it's not personal. It's like I'm a fan.
Yeah.
But like, sometimes
he just doesn't want to go for a layup and then look over and see you being
But like, why can't I get tickets to games you're not at? Like, why are you're fucking with the fans.
Yeah.
So your courtside seat thing is I get courtside seats, but not as frequently as I once did because of the disruptive behavior.
Sure.
But the fact that the Knicks guy did it and allegedly LeBron James did it, I'll take that.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
It's kind of cool.
I'll take it. I mean, I wish I could get my courtside seat. My wife is ashamed of it. She's ashamed of it. She's ashamed of it. But I just couldn't, like I had certain feelings about the Knicks and certain feelings about LeBron. I was like, yo, why can't I say them?
Yeah.
Why can't I say them and still go enjoy the games?
How do you feel about Mark Cuban?
I fuck with Mark Cuban.
Really?
Yeah. I fuck
do you
with
know him?
A little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, I know him. He's cool with me.
I like Shark Tank.
Okay, that's why you asked me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I fuck with Mark Cuban. He's always been cool with me.
Okay.
What else you got?
We're going to wrap it up.
Okay. Oh, shit. Okay.
So, you're a huge fan of Eddie Murphy, and then you got to work with him.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Bugged out. Like,
do you have a moment where you get to fan out, or do you try and play it
I
cool?
fan out.
Yeah.
I mean, I fan out when it's time to fan out. But, like, when we're working, like, you know, like, I'm not fanning out. But, like, you know, I got to ask him all the questions I wanted to ask him. And, you know, it's almost like if you're a basketball player, you know, I'm so familiar with him. Like, I know how to pass him the ball.
Yeah.
So I know, like, first of all, he's so fucking talented. Just talking to him, like, if he's telling a story and he's like, yeah, I was walking my dog and the neighbor screamed out, like, and he'll just do an impression of the neighbor, that kind of shit. But like, we would talk about the movie Raging Bull, which I know he loves, and we would do lines from Raging Bull together, and he would become the fucking characters. Like, that shit was crazy. And then the best Eddie Murphy story that I had when I did the movie Metro, which turned out to be not that great of a movie. It's kind of a whack movie. We were in a car doing a scene in a car, and Prince was playing, and I just said, "You know Prince?" And he was like, "Yeah, I know Prince." And he started telling me the story that the late great Charlie Murphy told on the Chappelle Show about playing basketball. He was there too, playing basketball with Prince, and he was like, "Yo," he came out, he's putting the ball between his legs. He goes, "But before the game, he put on the fishnet shit," and he said, Charlie said, "What's it gonna be? Shirts versus blouses?" And then he said, "Prince bust Charlie's ass." But that joke, shirts versus blouses, he told me that story before the Chappelle Show was shot. So when I was watching the Chappelle Show, I knew, like, I had heard it before from Eddie Murphy. But I mean, I fuck with Eddie.
What do you think about his venture into music, though?
I mean, party all the time. My girl wants to party all the time, party all the time,
That's a great
party all the
song.
time. Shit was sick. The rest of his music, straight trash.
Yeah.
Garbage. The reggae, duty.
Yeah.
But he's Eddie Murphy. So, like, yo, listen, I just told you that Deep Blue Sea and Metro sucked. He probably knows his music is trash, but he's Eddie Murphy. You got to keep swinging.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like, you know.
I would make an album.
And you know, like, but his music's garbage, but party all the time is still a banger. What's your question?
My girl wants to party all the time. Someone said they've had a crush on you since they were 9.
Damn.
The girl who sometimes does my eyebrows.
No, what does she do to your eyebrows? Like, are you known? You're known as for your eyebrows.
It's like
right?
90% of my personality.
Is your eyebrows? Did you always, because bushy eyebrows got in vogue? I know this because.
But in the 90s, it was all about thin, tiny eyebrows.
So in the 90s, you were younger.
I was like a 0.
What year were you
95.
born? Well, you were born in 1995?
Yeah. I know. It's okay.
So when you were like 15.
So my mom had bushy eyebrows growing up, and her mom told her never to touch her eyebrows. And so when I was growing up, my mom always told me, I know that you're going to get in middle school. Everyone's going to be tweezing their eyebrows. They're going to overpluck them. They don't know what they're doing. Don't let anyone touch your eyebrows. When you get them done, just have them cleaned up. So I just always kept my eyebrows thick.
And then it turned around.
Yeah, and then it was like, everyone was like, oh my God, I love your eyebrows.
Like the little fucking bitches who would before, like, and they're trying to get their shit in. And now you're like, ha ha, bitch.
But guys have very strong opinions about my eyebrows, which is interesting because that seems like a very weird thing for guys to be specific about.
They'll
have opinions about them. Like, oh, when are you going to tweeze your eyebrows? Who cares? Why do you care?
And ask them, do they manscape? Because most of the guys...
They don't.
They don't manscape?
No.
They don't, but are these wax people? Because a lot of dudes like that, like if they're on that shit, they might be chest waxers.
Maybe, but who
or
cares?
Asshole bleachers.
Oh.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I know it's turned the eyebrow thing.
Yeah. At the beginning of COVID, I was going to grow out my unibrow.
Oh, you're on that Anthony Davis.
I was going to do no tweezing my unibrow until COVID was over. I'm glad.
I'm glad. That might have been too much.
But I've seen some girls who have full unibrows.
I've seen it.
It looks cool.
The model chick, the one model chick. It looks cool, but it's...
But I think it's just an adjustment because we're so used to like grooming and having it be a certain way.
Roll the dice with it. I'm just saying, I'm like, yo, roll the dice with it. I'm going to fuck with you either way. But I'm just saying, like, you know, you've thought it through enough that like it could you know what I'm saying? Like, listen, Anthony Davis, NBA champion. I told, like, yo, come on, man. Like, it was cute. Like, okay, I'm out of college, unibrow. Like, all right, now fix your shit, man.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So, and he's a dude, and he's 7 feet, and he's, like, sick.
But that's the annoying thing. A lot of dudes have unibrows.
And I'll tell him, too, you look fucking stupid, man.
Great.
Pluck your shit.
Also, I loved My Name is Earl. That was one of my favorite shows.
Fun show.
Me and my dad watched it all the time.
Fun show.
I wish it was still on to this day.
Yeah, it felt like it could have been one of those shows that kept going.
Yeah.
Politics.
I know.
Politics. It's hard to
Yeah.
keep a show on the air.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers don't know how hard it is to keep a show on the air.
But that was such a great show.
Yeah, it was, and a good concept.
Such a good cast, too.
Yep.
I love Jason Lee.
Ethan Suplee, Jamie Presley.
Someone asked you ever talk to Brad Pitt still? I imagine it's like...
It's hard to keep up with. I mean, Brad Pitt is my dude. Like, he's somebody, if I had his number, I could call him and, like, we're cool. But, when you're that famous, and the thing about celebrity is, like, it's like the circus. So we could do movies together, and we bunker down, and we're chilling. And then, like, at the end of it, it's like, what are you doing? Well, Brad, like, I'm going to Brazil to do another movie for 4 months. And he's like, what are you doing? Like, I'm trying to get my next job. But it's hard to sustain the relationships. But that dude is a good dude.
Yeah.
Like, he's a good dude, and he's always carried himself with such, like, he doesn't act like he's Brad Pitt. And when you see him, like the last time I saw him, I hadn't seen him. I'm like, yeah, fucking Brad Pitt. You know what I mean? Like, you're like, he's got the jaw and the eyes. Like, it's Brad Pitt, but he's just like a chill dude.
I love that.
Yeah, I fuck with him. And also, he's a really good actor. And, I'm always happy to see him do good. Yeah. You know what I mean? And, like, I feel like a sort of, even though, like, I don't speak to him all the time, like, when people try to pop shit and there was that stuff, like, I try to, like, I'm like, yo, this is a good fucking dude. You know what I mean? So I fuck with Brad Pitt. He's sick.
He's great.
He's sick.
Yeah.
Like, talk about a fucking career. That motherfucker's sick. And, like, he's like 50 something, like, and then you're like taking your shirt off. Like, why are you taking your shirt off?
Because he can.
But he's not doing it to make you feel like shit. Like, in my opinion, like, when he took his shirt off in the Quentin Tarantino movie, that was part of the script. Like, he didn't choose that, but then you're like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? That's a non-Jew.
Oh, 100%.
Now, Brad Pitt, you never need to say, are you anything Jewish? Just
yeah.
We know as Jews, or even half Jews, that's not a Jew. Yeah. Jews don't come like that.
They're built different.
Especially at 53, like, that's not a Jew.
No.
Jews at 53, you're dealing with inflammation.
Sagging.
All sorts
bloating.
He's like, there's
tinnitus.
The whole thing. The jawline is just, it's so sick and so sharp. And, like, you're like, oh, he's like, oh, yeah, I went on you didn't diet. This is just how you woke up.
Yeah.
Anyway.
This was great.
Allie, I appreciate you having me. I appreciate the eyebrows. Mm-hmm. I appreciate all the Patreon stuff. And I think because we're going to blow up behind the paywall stuff.
Portions of this.
It's going to probably be the biggest, out of all the Patreon stuff. And I just was happy to come here and witness you do hot girl shit.
That's Meg the Stallion.
I know.
Love her.
I like when you say you're just doing... You I think when you were getting your burgers last week
on my hot girl shit,
you said you're on your hot girl
real
shit.
Hot girl shit.
And everybody was like, of course, like, yeah, there she is, like, she's eating a fucking pork bun from Burger
99,
and that's hot girl shit.
It's hot girl shit. Thanks for doing this. Do you have anything you wanna?
I'm just
your
happy
podcast?
To be here. I'm just trying to be safe. Okay. I'm just knocking on wood and trying to fucking COVID safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.